This is the worst-kept secret in the South. Haslam, Jimmy, owner of the Browns, huge SEC Tennessee booster, leans heavily on the Manning family. Very close to the Manning family.
Joe Flacco is here to guide and stabilize the room. But now fans are asking, was that ever true? It was supposed to be Joe Flacco's moment. The former Super Bowl MVP, the calm veteran presence, the insurance policy. That's what we were told. But what if I told you that everything the Cleveland Browns told you about their quarterback situation was a lie? Because while the media was busy hyping Flacco as a locker room leader, while coaches deflected questions and insisted there was no rush with rookie Shedeur Sanders behind closed doors, they were building the team around him. That's right. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just a backup. He wasn't a project. He was the plan all along. And now the evidence is piling up. This is the story the Browns didn't want you to hear. The truth about the Sanders-Flacco controversy that's rocking training camp, dividing the fan base, and exposing everything about how NFL front offices operate. But let's not pretend this entire situation unfolded by accident. The fingerprints of Browns general manager Andrew Berry are all over this. While Stefanski tried to manage public expectations and play it safe with Flacco, it was Berry quietly pulling the strings behind closed doors. Insiders say Berry was sold on Shedeur Sanders months ago, not just as a developmental project, but as the potential face of the franchise. It was Berry who reportedly fast-tracked Shedeur Sanders' reps behind the scenes, even while telling the media Flacco was the guy. And now, that dual messaging is starting to crack the locker room wide open. The setup, the Flacco distraction. Let's rewind. When the Browns signed Joe Flacco, the narrative was clear. Flacco was the veteran mentor, a bridge, a locker room stabilizer after a chaotic 2024 season. He'd help groom the rookie, give the Browns flexibility, hold down the fort if things got rocky. But almost immediately, the inconsistencies began. Coaches praised Flacco's leadership, but never committed to him as QB1. In every presser, Kevin Stefanski was careful. Too careful. Phrases like Shedeur's got a long way to go were followed by, but he's catching on quickly. Flacco was helping the room, not leading the offense. And when reporters asked directly who was getting the majority of first-team reps, Stefanski dodged every single time. Now, at the time, that might have seemed like harmless coach speak, a way to avoid controversy, but now it looks like deliberate misdirection. The Sanders explosion because while Flacco was giving calm veteran sound bites to the media, Shedeur Sanders was lighting up training camp. Let's be real. This kid isn't your average rookie. He's not some fourth-round flyer. He's not here to learn quietly. Shedeur was built for the spotlight, the swagger, the pressure. From Jackson State to Colorado and now Cleveland, he's always played with a chip on his shoulder, and at Browns camp, that chip became fire. According to multiple insiders, Shedeur has dominated the last 3 weeks of reps. He's outthrown Flacco in 11-on-11s. He's made tighter reads, quicker decisions, and showed poise under pressure. And the locker room, sources say it's already leaning his way. Veterans are rallying behind him. Younger players are gravitating toward him. Receivers want to build chemistry with him, not Flacco. So now the question becomes, if Shedeur Sanders is clearly the more dynamic option, if the team is clearly responding to him, then why is Joe Flacco still even in the conversation? The truth leaks out. Enter the leaks. 2 days ago, a Browns front office source spoke anonymously to a local beat reporter, and what they revealed blew the lid off everything. According to the source, the front office had always planned to fast-track Shedeur into the starting role, regardless of how Flacco looked. Joe Flacco wasn't the bridge, he was the smokescreen. They needed time to get Shedeur settled without the media circus, the source said. Flacco gave them cover. Cover? Think about that word. Not support, not leadership, not mentoring. Cover. Flacco wasn't brought in to win games, he was brought in to distract us while the Browns quietly prepared for the Sanders era. And now that era is here, the locker room divide. Of course, not everyone's on board. Joe Flacco is a proud veteran. He's no dummy. He knows when the writing's on the wall. Reports say there's been growing tension between the quarterbacks, that Flacco isn't exactly thrilled about being used as a prop, and that Stefanski's refusal to name a starter is causing frustration. Throughout the locker room, you've got one camp of players, mostly veterans, who still believe in Flacco, who respect his resume, who see him as safe, but then there's the younger generation. They want energy, leadership, swagger. They want Shedeur. One anonymous player told a reporter last week, Flacco's cool, but Shedeur, he makes you believe we can win it all, and that's the problem. When a rookie starts shifting the soul of a franchise, when a locker room begins to split it based on who believes in what. You don't just have a quarterback battle, you've got a culture war. Stefanski's gamble. Now let's talk about Kevin Stefanski, the man in the middle of this storm. He's trying to keep the peace, trying to hold both sides together, trying to delay the inevitable. But here's the truth. Stefanski's indecision is making things worse. Every day he delays naming Shedeur the starter, he loses credibility because the tape doesn't lie. The reps don't lie. The vibe doesn't lie. Shedeur Sanders is QB1 in every way except title, and every time Stefanski pretends there's still a battle, he insults everyone's intelligence. Some fans are even accusing Stefanski of playing politics. They say he's afraid to fully commit to Shedeur because of the optics, because Flacco's a known commodity, because if the rookie fails, Stefanski knows the blame falls on him. But here's the irony. By refusing to embrace the future, he might be sealing his own. The media reaction. Of course, the media is having a field day with this. Some pundits are defending Flacco, saying the Browns owe it to him, that his experience matters. Others, they're calling out the obvious hypocrisy. ESPN's Marcus Spears didn't hold back. Stop babying Flacco. This is Shedeur's team now. You either ride with the future or get out the way. Colin Cowherd said it best. If Flacco was drafted in 2025, no one would even mention him. He's a nostalgia act. And fans, they're turning. Social media is flooded with clips of Shedeur dropping dimes in practice. Hashtags like Start Shedeur and Flacco Fiction are trending. Even some Browns legends are weighing in. Former players have said privately that the team needs to move on and let the kid lead. This isn't just about football, it's about truth. It's about trust. It's about who the Browns really are. What happens next? He'd yell. So what now? Shedeur continues to shine. Flacco continues to fade. And Stefanski continues to stall. But the clock is ticking. The first preseason game is around the corner. And if Stefanski trots out Joe Flacco as the starter, the boos will be deafening. The media firestorm will be instant. And the damage might be irreversible, because once you see the future, you can't unsee it. And Shedeur Sanders is the future. He's got the arm, the mind, the it factor. And if the Browns don't embrace it soon, they might lose more than games. They might lose the locker room. They might lose the fan base. They might lose their soul. So let's ask the question again. Was Joe Flacco ever really the plan? Or was he just the illusion? A safe story, a familiar face, a convenient lie? Because here's the truth. The Browns have already found their quarterback. His name is Shedeur Sanders. And no matter how long they tried to delay it, hide it, spin it, that truth will rise. It's Shedeur. He's not waiting his turn. He's taking it. And so here we are, standing at the edge of a quarterback storm that could redefine not just the Browns' future, but how we evaluate leadership, talent, and transparency in the NFL. Shedeur Sanders didn't ask for the spotlight. He didn't demand headlines, and he certainly didn't need a marketing campaign to validate his worth. He showed up, put his head down, and outperformed a Super Bowl MVP in nearly every measurable way during training camp, and yet the narrative, it keeps bending around him, never in his favor. Why? Because the organization doesn't want to admit what the rest of us can already see, and Joe Flacco was never the long-term plan. He was the placeholder, the buffer, the media pacifier, and once Shedeur began lighting it up against the first-team defense, all those excuses started to fall apart like wet tissue paper. This is no longer about a quarterback competition. This is about a credibility crisis. The fans see it, the players see it. Hell, even opposing coaches have whispered their respect for what Shedeur's put on tape. So why does the Browns front office continue to play this political game of pretending there's still a question? Why does Kevin Stefanski dance around direct answers while Andrew Berry stays behind the curtain like some invisible puppeteer? The reason is simple but dangerous. Control. Control over the locker room. Control over the media spin. Control over when and how they anoint the new face of the franchise. But guess what? That control is slipping. The moment Shedeur threw that 45-yard bomb into double coverage, threading it between two veteran safeties, the sidelines erupted. Not the coaches, not the executives, the players, because they know what greatness looks like. They know when someone is different. And Shedeur, he's not just ready. He's already there. That's what scares them most, isn't it? It's not that Joe Flacco can't win games. It's not that Flacco's washed up or out of shape. No, it's that Shedeur Sanders is too good too soon. And that's a threat to the hierarchy. It's a threat to the system. Because if a 21-year-old rookie can outplay your seasoned veteran and lead the team, then everything you told us about development timelines and paying your dues goes out the window. And the Browns, they're not ready for that. They're not ready to admit Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback on the roster, not because of inexperience, but because of ego. Because it would mean they were wrong, that the veteran safety net they signed in Joe Flacco was never the real answer, that the kid from Colorado, the son of Coach Prime, the same player the media loved to doubt, just made everyone in Berea look like they were playing checkers while he was playing chess. And now the walls are closing in. Cleveland fans aren't stupid. They know a movement when they see one. And this isn't hype. It's performance. This isn't just about jersey sales or Instagram likes. This is about a young quarterback leading by example, putting in the work and showing up every single rep with more command, more energy, and more respect than the guy with a Super Bowl ring. That's the uncomfortable truth the Browns don't want to face. But it's not going away. Because Shedeur isn't going away. Every missed opportunity to name him QB1 only strengthens his case. Every awkward media dodge, every empty quote about competition only fuels the fire.